Top 5 Dangerous Fashion Choices for Women. Fashion is an artistic form of self-expression, and like any art form, it is constantly evolving and branching in new directions. Of course, if you take enough directions, some will lead to strange places. This is certainly true in fashion, where there have been many questionable trends over the years. And though most of them are baffling but harmless, a few have been downright dangerous. And more often than not, at least in Western society, where it is mostly pushed on women, those dangerous fashions trends are left to the ladies. From deadly chemicals to radiation to the breaking and removing of bones, women have had to endure some seriously unsafe practices to meet shifting social standards. Here are 5 of the most dangerous fashion trends that women, somehow, participated in. Number 5. Lead, arsenic, and mercury. Though we named 3 of the big ones, we could easily have included more, like turpentine, formaldehyde, phthalates, parabens, and more. Over the millennia, there has been no shortage of deadly chemicals used in beauty products. Women have literally been poisoning themselves for beauty for as long as there has been fashion. The examples are too numerous to list. Among them are arsenic pads, which were used to pale the complexion. They worked by killing the red blood cells under the skin. Lead powder, which was used to create the signature Baroque white face. Scheele's green, a vibrant green dye made from arsenic that caused cancer after repeated use. Mercury-treated hats caused neurological disorders, and are the reason we've all heard the phrase mad as a hatter. Number 4. Neck rings. Neck rings have emerged independently in several civilizations, ranging across Africa and Asia. The process entails covering the neck of a growing girl with metal rings and adding more rings as she grows. They add even more rings if any gap or looseness emerges between rings. This theoretically lengthens the neck, thereby increasing the women's beauty. The problem is, the neck doesn't actually elongate at all. In reality, the heavy discs and their dense arrangement push down on the clavicle and ribs with enough force to warp them, bending them unnaturally far down. This warping can lead to many health risks, including circulation and clotting issues, as the soft tissues are subjected to bones in irregular places. Worse, in some cultures girls can choose to forego rings during childhood and instead start, as a preteen, taking on extra rings to catch up. Accelerating the process of bone deformation is certain to be unpleasant and unhealthy. Number 3. DIY piercings. Even though piercings are intentionally inflicted stab wounds, which should make any sane human think a professional should do this, many try to perform their own piercings at home. The proliferation of DIY at-home piercing kits online has made this option even more enticing for thrifty dummies. There are a number of dangers when stabbing yourself at home, the most common of which is infection. Professional piercing locations have to meet an array of standards to prevent infection risk, but no one's home does. Professionals wear gloves, sterilize their tools and room, sterilize the piercing site, and train to make sure they are competent. None of that is guaranteed at home, where lack of training and sterility could even lead to disease transmission if done improperly enough. Number 2. The Radia. In the 1920s and 30s, there was a fashion craze built around radioactive products. Scientists had just discovered radioactive elements in the previous decades, and to the ignorant public, they were just new materials that contained energy. The buzzword was enough to launch a craze, and suddenly thorium and radium were everywhere. One such line of cosmetics was named the Radia because it contained both thorium and radium. The line included face creams, lipsticks, soaps, and even soft drinks, all of which were marketed as miracle products whose mysterious energetic properties could cure anything from aching bones to crow's feet. Obviously, The products did not work quite as expected, and instead, an entire generation of women saw its cancer rate skyrocket. Number 1. Corsets. Somehow corsets have existed and been in widespread use for hundreds of years. The idea is simple enough. Cinch a fabric frame around the torso in order to thin the waist, with the added bonus of raising the breasts and widening the hips. And corsets work, but they also put enough pressure on the torso for enough time to deform and damage your organs. Corsets have been shown to deform the bowels, causing painful blockages, deform the lungs, opening them up to infections, and even kill. There are multiple recorded cases of corsets killing their wearers, either by slowly suffocating them or, as in the infamous case of Mary Halliday, pushing hard enough into the torso to pierce the heart.